were my wife's concerns associated with my early retirement. Folks, my name is Joe. I retired at the age of 54. I'm currently 60. Just turned 60 this year. Feel a little bit older. 50 still felt young to me, but still feel great. I've been retired 5.75 years, and this question came in. I thought it was excellent. Most people on YouTube don't address the full scope of retirement, but that's what I try to share with you. My journey, my experiences, helping you make that step to early retirement, maybe 1 or 2, 3, even 4 years earlier than you thought was possible. Leave a comment if that has happened to you. You've retired just a little bit earlier listening to my story. Do that not only for me, but to inspire other folks that gain information, gain experience, listen to others. Information can help you make better decisions. Maybe just retire a year earlier. What will that be worth to you? So, hey, also, I'm going to add a short Alaska video. I may do 2 Alaska videos. There may be 20 seconds a piece, something like that. A train ride from Denali National Park. I want to show those to you. So hang on to the end for those. I'll just attach that to the end so you can go right into it. So, you know, my wife's expectations of early retirement were pretty darn simple. She wants to maintain current spending. She didn't want to notice that I wasn't working, okay? Other than that I'm around and maybe we're traveling a little bit more. But basically maintain our lifestyle. Did not want to see a big drop off in being able to go out to eat. Our travel, didn't want to, step down in hotels or something like that. If we needed to buy a new car, we bought a new car. So not really a big change in lifestyle was her only interest. Her other interest, I guess, I'll say this, was not to be involved. And unfortunately, this is the case for most of you, and that's why I'm sharing it. Normally, only one spouse really dives into long-term finances. My wife actually handles everything short-term. Most of our bills are automatic, but she manages just the next, I'll say, 30 days, and everything beyond that I'm handling with money transfers into our checking account, long-term investing, stocks, bonds, whatever I'm into. I manage all that. So she wanted to not be involved in any of the long-term decisions and didn't want to notice a change in spending. I think a lot of you are probably falling into that category. Let me know in the comments. Now, we did have some big arguments, and I'm calling them big, but these are the biggest arguments we had associated, disagreements, that's probably a better word, associated with retiring. And I should have seen these coming, should have had these discussions before I retired, but like many of you, I was just focused on making the number. I was just focused on money and what I was going to be doing in retirement, not really some of the finer points to make sure that my wife and I were aligned on them. Number one argument we had, debate, was on giving. We've always been givers, and when you're not working, how much do you give away? What's the formula? Some people like to tithe, and that's giving 10% of your income. Well, when you're not making any income, what is it? Is it zero? We didn't want to be there, and where we negotiated that, and I'm pretty proud of this actually, is we give about 10% of our expenses. So whatever we spend this year, 2024, we'll give away about 10% of that rather than income. And income, gets really complicated because most of my assets are, stocks, and those could be up wildly this year and down wildly next year. So I don't get a refund on my giving. So how do you manage that? So expenses seem to be a nice solution. So you may think about that, giving a percentage of your expenses in retirement instead of your income. Just food for thought. The second discussion we had was when the market downturns, now I do have buckets of money. I got 10 years in bucket 1 and 2 combined. 10 years of expenses that's not in the stock market. So it really buffers me against almost all of the stock market drama. Okay, I've got bucket 1 money market fund is most of that, some CDs. Used to have some I bonds, but I sold those. But high yield savings accounts in bucket 1. Bucket 2 is a couple of bond funds. So that's really out of the market kind of stuff. But natural tendency for humans, and I'm a human, is when the market is down like 30%, say, just, in my bucket 3 money's down 30%, I want to tighten my belt on some major discretionary things, like new windows in the house, like new flooring in the house. Those were 2 real examples for us that we postponed when the market was down in 2023. Okay, 2024 has been great. But, those were like, why can't we spend this money? Yes, technically we did have the money, but I'm just telling you this, like, hey, when you're down 30% in your bucket 3, it's like, let's continue to travel, let's continue to go on out to eat, but some of these, $30,000 optional things, let's just push those out, and that's what we did. Now, the rest of the story there, I got a very elderly dog named Chloe. Chloe is almost 15 years old, and she has some accidents in the house, and she just has some problems that we don't want to do anything with flooring while she's still around and with us. And also, I've hinted at this a couple times. My daughter and her husband and my granddaughter have moved in with us in June. And this is part of her husband, Trent, his transition out of the U.S. Marines. He's still a Marine, but they wanted to move back to the area. They needed someplace to land while he's getting out of the military. He's currently getting an MBA from Kelley School of Business at IU. So they needed a little landing place to figure some things out. So they're living with us, and little Everly, she's almost 8 months old, roaming around the house, kind of having every once in a while she, what we call spits up on the flooring. So we're kind of waiting on flooring for Chloe and Kaylee and Trent's, eventually they're going to move out. And we're kind of waiting on that. So that's kind of the rest of the story. But those are a couple expense things that were debates, disagreements that my wife we've never had to in the past, throttle spending because of the stock market. When I was making money, had income coming in, but technically we didn't have to throttle money, but it's just a natural reaction when the economy's down. You have something like COVID happen. You're not sure how long COVID's going to happen. You're not sure in the Great Recession how long it's going to take for the economy to come back. Natural tendency is to bring spending back. And I guess one of the things on my mind there, that's why the a blanket 4% rule really doesn't work. You don't spend enough money on it because, yes, all these studies, 4% the last 30 years in a 50-50 portfolio, but it doesn't factor in, one, your spending during down markets is going to go down, okay? And that helps for that 4% rule, where you can pull out, higher than that. And there's a lot of videos on that. So that's what I wanted to say about that. So two arguments about money giving, and I gave the solution for me on that one, and then market dictating some of our discretionary spending. Now, my wife, Lisa, she has just no interest in participating in learning about markets, learning about money, learning about Social Security, longevity, stocks, bonds, international funds. She has no knowledge of getting involved in that. And like I've said many times before, going DIY on your retirement is a part-time job. Pays well, but it's a part-time job. You can't just say, I don't want to pay a financial planner anything, and I'm not going to do the work myself at all either. That'll lead to some bad outcomes. So you either got to decide to do the work yourself or hire a financial planner. You can go with a financial planner plan only if you'd like. And I got a link. You've heard me talk about Neil Fort Wendell offering that service. It's one of the links below for a plan only, not full assets under management. But my wife doesn't have any interest of doing that now or in the future. So I've actually worked out an agreement with Neil and said, we negotiated a assets under management percent fee, less than 1%. I don't want to say what it is, but we negotiated that. So whenever I die, my wife buries me, calls the funeral home first. Second call is Neil and said, hey, I want to go assets under management. Just write me a check once a quarter and I'll live my life. We'll meet 4 times a year and I trust you. So that's my arrangement with Neil in case I pass. My wife doesn't want any involvement in the strategic decisions around money, and that's just fine. That's not a wrong answer. It's just a different answer for me. When I can do it, I enjoy it, and I like to spend time on it. Planning to go ask. Okay, there you go. So that's what I had today. So look forward to, I'm going to link 2 Alaska videos here on the train ride from Denali National Park down to Whittier to catch the Princess cruise ship. It's Joe.